go. Well, that's awesome. I just did a thumbs up for everybody. All right, we are live. There we go. All right, welcome everybody to the Renatus InvestEdge. Today's format is just a little bit different because we are taking things apart in the studio, but we didn't want to miss out on an opportunity to join every single one of you. So without any interruption, we are doing this one a little bit differently. However, the content is still going to be incredible, so buckle up. Now, my name is Jay Stark. I want to extend a very special welcome to each and every one of you, especially those of you that are here for the very first time. The design of this call is to bring to you up-to-date information that is going to empower you inside of your own business to get to that next level, to take the next step, to do that one thing, that overcome that obstacle that's been in your way. That's what this call is all about. And today is going to be an exceptional opportunity for you to really delve into a new frame around how you can position yourself in your business and interact with everyone else in your business. So buckle up. This is going to be a barn burner for sure. So with no further ado, I want to introduce to you the host for the remainder of the call. He is the founder and CEO of Renatus, an individual that I've had the opportunity to get to work for the better part of 14 and a half years. We're coming up on 15 years, believe it or not. And it has been an absolute privilege. He is somebody who uses his ethics and morals to guide the good ship Renatus, and there's nobody else I would rather see at the helm than Mr. Bob Snyder. So, Mr. Snyder, take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. I so appreciate you, Jay. You're such a rock star. I have been blessed to have you in this capacity for the last 14 and a half years. I can't wait to see where the next 14 and a half years takes us. Right? It's going to be outstanding. Listen, hello, everybody. Welcome. This is going to be another incredible episode of InvestEdge. As you can see, we have our guest right there on your screen, Mr. Woody Woodward. I'll be introducing him in just a moment here, but I've just got a few quick announcements, a few things that I wanted to share with everybody so that you guys are all up to speed. That is this. Listen, we're putting this thing out on YouTube, but we're doing it so that you can benefit from the content that we create every single week. And the best way for you to do that is subscribe to the channel. That's right, man. Give us a thumbs up, give us the likes, hit the notification bell so that every single time we've got a new episode that hits, you can get noticed first. And that way you don't miss out on anything that might be coming along. That's the beauty of it all. The reason why is because it's really simple. The Renatus mission statement is this. Our mission is to create a new generation of real estate investors equipped with principle-centered financial education that empowers them to reduce debt faster, cut taxes legally, negotiate smarter, and invest wiser through educational strategies designed to pay for themselves. That's the mission of Renatus, and that's why we do what we do. And I'll tell you what, I'll get into some of the other announcements as we kind of move along in our discussion here. But for right now, I want to be able to introduce to each and every one of you the incredible guest that we have on today's Zoom. I almost said call, Jay. Yeah, Zoom, show, whatever. You know what? There's just too doggone many things that we could name this show, Zoom, YouTube channel experience. But the one thing that you can count on is that it's going to be called great because of the amazing people that we bring here each and every week. Now, I'm going to brag on this guy before we bring him out here for a little discussion. Mr. Woody Woodward is a best-selling author. He's written over 44 different books. I shouldn't say over. I think it is just 44 for right now, isn't it?
It's
He's written
44.
44 different books. He has trained individuals from 37 different countries around the world. He's made an unbelievable impact in our own company, in our own community inside of Renatus. And now I'm working with him on the Drive Sales System and Drive Influence, which we have co-authored. As you can see, a couple of those books behind us. And excited about all the things that Drive brings to the table. Now, the Drive Sales System, Drive Influence, the Drive System is a unique program that allows individuals to better communicate, better connect, better build rapport, and better get results and influence their family, their friends, their business, sales, real estate deals. And we're going to unpack all of that for you today. So Mr. Woodward. I'm excited to have you with us, man. Woody is a champion. He is a sought after speaker and trainer, literally from coast to coast and around the world. And we've got him right here, right now on the Renatus Invest Edge. So, Woody, come on out, my friend, and do me a favor. Share with everyone here a little bit about the development of Drive and what it means to the folks that are going to be watching this Invest Edge.
I appreciate it, Bob. As always, such an honor. And Jay, thank you so much. So the beautiful thing about Drive is that all of us have what we call a personality style, a communication style, things that the filter in which we see the world. And so what Drive does is identify the five different personality styles. So you've got what are called directors. So they're motivated by lifestyle, freedom, creativity. You got relators who are all about connection, community. You've got intellectuals. They're all about intelligence, learning, and growing. V is for validators. They're all about admiration, giving, receiving, trust, and respect. And then E is executives. They want to win, be in control. They're the show me the money, the audience. So the way Drive was developed and created happened actually about 20 years ago, almost to the date, coming up here in a couple months. And I was writing my first book series called Millionaire Dropouts, Inspiring Stories of the World's Greatest Failures. And through this process, my wife said, "Hey, I really feel inspired for you to read How to Win Friends and Influence People." Now, at this point, I had read over 2,000 biographies. I'm documenting all these people who dropped out of elementary school through college. And I couldn't do it. I'm like, babe, my brain is bleeding. I can't read one more thing. She said, please, just I'll take the kids, go to the library. So I used to work at the library, got away from the young kids at home. And second chapter is all about making other people feel important. So Dale Carnegie, in this insanely, incredibly successful book, dedicated an entire chapter about why it is so important to make other people feel important. Now, he'd been dead for 57 years. I thought, nah, I'm going to go prove him wrong. So in the process of trying to prove him wrong over 20 years, we ended up proving him right, that everybody has seven key characteristics that make them feel important. Now, this isn't about pride or ego or feeling more important than someone else. This is identity of why you show up in the world, how you act. And so, through all that crowdsourcing connections, interviews, and through Renatus, Renatus has had the greatest impact and influence on Drive more than any other company or any other individual. And so, to be able to be here on InvestEdge is such an honor to share with you guys, especially those who may not know what Drive is. So, I'm looking forward to it, Bob.
Well, excellent, man. Thanks for a little bit of background there. Let's talk about, how Drive as a foundation to influence really impacts business relationships. What have you seen in your career?
Well, we know with persuasion and influence, you cannot connect with someone if you cannot communicate with them. So I don't care how well versed you are in English. If you go to Japan or you go to Italy and you don't speak that language, you are not going to have any persuasion, influence, or connection at all. It is no different with sales communications relationships. We all have a preference that we prefer, whether it's the DRIVE. So if you're writing this down at home, D is for directors, R is for relators, I is for intellectuals, V is for validators, and E is for executives. So if you don't understand the language in which the other person wants to receive the information you have, you're just going to butt heads, or worse, they're just going to ignore you. They're going to push you back. And in fact, Harvard Business Review, HubSpot, and Salesforce.com all did independent studies and found that the national average of salespeople, their closing ratio, all hovered right around 20%, regardless of the industry they were in. And so if you look at the five buying languages, you speak one inherently, you alienate the other four, which we call the 20-80 rule. You lose 80% of your sales and your communication if you don't speak those other four languages. So to me, understanding someone's drive is the most important thing you can do to have a better ability to communicate, have leadership skills, and connect with people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But then, I'm a little bit biased, Woody. I mean, we wrote a couple books
You're a
together,
co-author
so
of the book, so
yeah.
yeah,
So I'm pretty
you've
excited
written
about
this thing.
what we've created with Drive. It's been fantastic. But I'm going to pick on you for most of the answers on this deal, and just kind of lean into it because this is all about real estate, right? So, we've got a lot of folks that are sitting out there and they're going, man, that sounds fantastic for salespeople. That sounds fantastic for, business people. But hey, how's that going to help me in real estate? Woody, what would you say to those folks?
I'm trying to wipe the smile off my face because Every single thing is sales. All communications is sales. Either you're being sold or you're selling. And I really even hate the word sell. Think of it as serving. In real estate, you can't sell slash serve someone unless you know what their motives are. So let's say you're in the buying cycle. You want to buy an investment property. You want to take over someone's short seller, someone who's going through pain. If you don't know what motivates them, there's a high likelihood of 1 out of 5 chance 4 out of 5 chance that you're going to say the wrong thing that will offend their drive. I love real estate. I've been in real estate for over 30 years. Literally last night, my wife and I were working on a deal. This is one gentleman. We're trying to buy this house from him. And we offered $50,000 more than what he was asking, paying top dollar. It just did not matter. Nothing that we said connected with him until I said, what is it that you need? And what we found out was he had just gone through a horrible breakup. He had been divorced, was getting remarried, and that engagement fell through. And the home that he had was empty. And he's like, I got to move back in. I got to put my life back together. So, money, everything else was irrelevant unless we didn't address his emotional needs. So, we were texting back and forth late last night, about 11 o'clock. I said, well, what if we found you a different home that you liked even more than your home that you could rent or take care of? And we purchased your home. That started a different dialogue. So, when it comes to real estate, knowing people's motivations to why they are getting rid of their property, or if they're buying the property you're selling, is crucial in the communication cycle.
So in other words, so if you're, say, a director of the drive system, and your type is director, and you're speaking to an individual who's an intellectual, the communication may be just a little bit off because you both have a feeling of importance, but what that feeling is and what generates that importance to a director is very different from an intellectual. So if you're speaking one language, it really is just like speaking Japanese to somebody who only speaks English.
100%.
Yeah. So what does that mean for, like, well, let's just say that you're building a relationship with a small regional bank. We love small regional banks because if you develop a relationship over time, they start to trust you. You have a track record of success. You can get lines of credit and availability to funds that you can get at reduced rates in more of a structured environment. How does Drive help you to build a relationship with a banker?
Oh, it's huge. So years ago, I had a mortgage and real estate firm in 7 different states. We funded over $100 million in real estate transactions. And I used to use KeyBank all the time for our second mortgages. And I was developing Drive at the time, and I was starting to help her a little bit with her employees. And I remember her sitting down with her. We were doing some loans for some people. And she said, I've got this one teller who I can't seem to connect with. Do you mind? And I also bank there. And so I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll just make a quick deposit and then I'll have a conversation. So I go in there and, we've all been to those tellers where they're very sterile. It's like a hospital. There's nothing personal. And what happened to be in her little teller area, it had 3 snow globes. So it had Paris, it had, um, there's one with a Colosseum in Italy and Rome. And it was interesting. I said, so, do you like to travel? Oh, I love to travel. And she went off for like 10 minutes. My husband and I were going to get our pilot's license. We're going to travel all this information. Manager, and I share this information. And she goes, well, she never told me that. I said, you never asked. We get 100% of what we don't ask for. So if you're going to build a relationship with a regional bank and you don't go in there to learn who they really are, to understand their hopes, goals, dreams, passions, why would they do business with you? Why would they leverage their integrity or their position in the bank to help you out? Knowing everyone's drive that you work with, especially on an intimate level, is fantastic. It's the only way to build real rapport and connection.
Right. So let me get this straight. So you actually went in and helped the bank manager to
Yeah.
better connect with her employees and with the staff, and then of course with their customers. Hmm. That sounds to me like more than just a rapport building skill. That's a relationship building skill. And now you've created value for them. So what do they want to do? Create value for you. As an investor, it's not just about going into any kind of a transaction, any kind of a relationship with both hands out, right? Saying, gimme, 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 gimme. It's really about, going out and saying, man, how can I serve? And there's a big difference between the two. Now, that's how you get into a bank, how you use Drive for that. But I mean, come on, does Drive really work with building a relationship with a private lender, with a hard money lender?
even more so. But just for fun, let's go back to the regional bank. I
Okay.
remember in 2008, the housing market crash. We were in Southern California, so that's the epicenter of where all the extra loans and homes were. So imagine if you'd spent the last 5 years with a regional bank in California and
Yeah.
you had had trust and connection, and then all of a sudden they had this enormous surplus of inventory. Who would they sell it to? Which investor they sell it to? The one who, took loans from them, or the one who spent time with them, communicating with them, dropping off donuts, stopping by to say hi? Those are the people who got the deals. So on a regional level, that applies also to private lending, probably more so with private lending, because with private lenders, it's their money or they're responsible directly for that money. A regional bank, that employee is not responsible for that money. But a private lender absolutely is responsible for those funds. So
Yeah.
knowing what drives them, knowing where they want to go, and here's where most people get it wrong. They think transactionally. You've got to think on a collaborative standpoint. If you're dealing with someone who has money, they're doing personal loans, they are going to want to do other business besides just hard money loans. If you interview them, you understand their drive. Where do they want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Maybe they want to collaborate with you. Maybe they have other properties from other lenders who have gone defunct and now they want you to take them over and sell them. But if you don't have the deep conversations, you're losing out on so much opportunity.
What you're saying is that by understanding drive, it actually helps you to enhance, strengthen, deepen relationships, deepen trust, and that makes you more money?
Shocking, right? People do
Shocking.
business with those
Yes.
they know, like, and trust. I'll tell you, I had a perfect example today. I was on a call with a company and I was going to sell them Drive. And before we got into it, I said, tell me where you want to go. Where do you want to be 1 year, 5 years? And what I didn't know, and this is the value of a question,
Yes.
both people had major titles in the corporation. So I'm thinking they've been there 20 years. One girl goes, well, I started a week ago. And the other woman said, well, I've been here 4 months. I'm like, okay, with that bit of information, I can make them look like rock stars to their owner. So I said, okay, instead of telling you what I can do, I want to understand your company, where you want to be, and how I can help you with your boss. They're like, oh, we would love that. We created a collaborative atmosphere where instead of me just transactionally trying to get them to buy my Drive coaching, they now are saying, wait a minute, so you'll write a blog for us every week. You'll come on every quarter and do a webinar and train our people and sell them. So instead of being a one-time transaction, they've already committed to an entire year of 4 transactions where I can sell what we offer. And now we are building out an enormous relationship play. But once again, if you go in transactional, you're missing all the other pieces on the board.
It's one of the things because I teach the negotiations class as well for Renatus, and one of the things that we really drill down on is a little concept called CANA. It's an acronym. It stands for um, okay. It stands for now I went blank.
I love that. Don't you like you've invented a product in your mind? I've done that so many times, Bob. So
Oh, that
it'll
is
come to you.
hilarious.
It will
Um,
come to you.
it's the fact that each and every person has a need, and that need needs to be addressed. So really, what we are, oh, it's the consequences. Oh my goodness, I couldn't think of that word. Consequences of not achieving agreement. That's what CONA stands for. So the consequences of not achieving agreement are these: is that both the buyer and the seller have consequences of not achieving agreement. And what we've got to do as investors is we've got to be able to ask the right questions so we know what that is. Woody, you just gave a perfect example of that. I mean, here's a couple of folks that they just got started with their company. They haven't been on board very long, and they don't even know what the consequence is to not including drive in their system and in their culture. And you had to get down to what it is that's important to them so that you could then fulfill that need. And see, as investors, that's exactly what we do every single time. But if you go in there thinking from an old negotiating perspective, then what you're really doing is it's like, okay, I'm going to get the best deal. I'm going to drill these people down. I'm going to make sure that I win and win big. If all you're doing is thinking about yourself and you're not thinking about them, you're likely to lose the business to someone else who is a little bit more concerned about solving their problem so that they can realize the benefit. That's what I love about Drive. So it gets right down to the brass tacks on how to make that happen.
We
So,
call that ROI versus ROI. So often investors only think about return on investment. So if I invest $100 and I get $10 back, I have a 10% ROI. Change it to ROI. It is infinitely, you can't equate it. It goes on indefinitely. If you make someone feel important, you understand their drive, and you help create massive value for them, there is nothing they won't do for you. Think about the people in your life that have
mm,
really truly made you feel important. Wouldn't you do anything and everything for them?
oh,
And for
absolutely.
some of those of you might be listening, you might think, well, Woody, it's so awkward. You can't ask them what their drive is. 100% you can. These two individuals, before we got on the call and we were doing everything by email, I had never met them. I said, hey, since we're going to have a conversation on where we can do business together, would you mind going to discoveryourdrive.com? And for those of you who are listening, it's totally free. Discoveryourdrive.com. Write down your primary and secondary drive. It'll take you 5 minutes, 35 questions. You'll have an answer. Like, okay, no problem. And when I first got on the call, both of these individuals thanked me for it. She goes, oh, it was so enlightening to learn about myself. Who doesn't want to learn about themselves?
Oh,
Well,
self
one of
discovery is
them
a
was
blast.
right. One was an executive relator, one was an executive intellectual. Instantly, I knew how to speak to both of them. It was flawless. The speech went fantastic. And now we're not having a transactional relationship. We're having a collaborative relationship where we both benefit.
Right on. You said where you both benefit, collaborative, not competitive. Expand on that a little bit, Woody.
So often when things are transactional, everyone is selfishly driven. What's in it for me? How do I get the most out of this deal? How do I undercut this person? How do I shave 10 grand off of this deal? Collaborative means I win and you win. Now, the only way I can help you win is if I know what motivates you, if I know your drive. Otherwise, I can project what I think you want, but that's the golden rule. I'll treat you the way that I want to be treated. That's selfish. The platinum rule, do unto others the way they want to be done unto, that is kind. That is caring. That means I'm going to take enough time to figure out what really inspires and motivates you and make sure that in this offer, you get something and I get something, we both win together.
I'll tell you what, one of the best strategies that, I've ever employed when it comes to finding, or I should say, securing a good deal is really positioning myself as the expert. Somebody calls me up, says, listen, I got a family friend, associate, they're in trouble. They need your help. And I'm happy to just sit down and have a conversation with them and say, all right, well, let's kind of take a look at where you're at and let's, pull some information. I mean, and then it allows me as the expert who's there to consult or assist them to extract a lot of information that I otherwise might not get. I said, well, let's see if we can, help you to stop the foreclosure, postpone the foreclosure, realize a better rate of return, and we'll do a deep dive on what do you own, are there liens and judgments, what's going on, how long are you in default, what's the default amount owed, what do we need to do to bring it current. We'll go through all of those questions, and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to share with you a number of different ways that we can stop or postpone to foreclosure. And after I have served them through that process, right, it's all about collaboration. We're in this together, man. Let's see what we can do to get you to the other side. They may basically, put an X mark in each of the boxes that I am outlining for them to solve their problem. And if they do, by the time we get to number 7, guess what the 7th box is? They could sell me the property. Now, if
Right.
I've gone through
Right.
that much time, that much energy, that much effort to help them and collaborate with them in trying to find a solution to their problem, if in the end their only option is to sell me the property, they're not going to sell it to somebody else. That's the
Yeah,
beauty.
I have a personal experience happen this week for us. So
Yeah.
right now we're renting. We live in a 4-story high-rise townhome, and there's a in front of our house is a road and then a lake. And I love this lake. And on this lake, there's an island. And on the island, the homes range anywhere from 1.8 million to 3 million. So these townhomes, there's only 5 of them that have the view that I like.
Yeah.
So I have literally gone door to door to door to door trying to figure out, because the landlord that I have right now, he's moving back in. I knocked on everyone's door and said, hey, do you want to rent or sell your property? And everyone's like, no, no, no. I love it. It's my favorite. Love the view. Well, one woman said, oh, you know what? Our neighbor is in Spain right now and she's looking to rent the property. I'm like, great. Can you have her text me? She texts me. We sit down, talk to her. What's your passion? What are you doing? Why are you going to Europe? I love Europe. We have this, half hour, hour long conversation. That understanding of what she wants, her biggest fear is, well, what happens if I'm in Europe and I don't have a property manager to take care of my property? I'm like, well, I've been a property manager. I can do it all for you. Well, I'm nervous. So we just had this conversation. I ended up working out a deal where we are now the property manager of her property that we are going to rent, which is just silly. But it saved $250 a month. Well, you take that over a year, that's an end up $3,000 savings just by understanding what she really wanted. Then one of the women, or one of the owners, her name was Sandy. She goes, "Oh no, we have tenants in there right now, but next year I'm thinking about selling the property." And I told her, I said, flat out, I'll buy it right now. I said, "You don't need a real estate agent. We'll save you 6%." And she goes, "You do that for me?" I'm like, "Absolutely." I said, "I'll sign a year contract on this one. Next year I'll buy yours. Here's my cell number." She said, "Absolutely." So we're already negotiating, saving 6%, which at these levels it's a lot of money to save, all because I asked what they wanted, what they needed, where they were going, versus I need a house. I want it right now. Give it to me.
Mm-hmm. And that's the art of the deal. That truly is. If you understand how to ask the right questions. And guess what we did? Man, I'll tell you what. This little book right here has got all the answers. I mean, it really does. Woody was talking about discoveryourdrive.com. Well, that's the assessment. That's where you go online so that you can answer 35 questions, take the assessment, find out what your primary and your secondary drive is, gives you a nice little synopsis of, who you are, what you're all about. Self-discovery really is a blast. But when you get into the book, this thing is golden. And every single thing in here is not only applicable to the wonderful world of sales, but it's also applicable to real estate investing because you're dealing
Let's
with people.
let's talk about chapter 8 on page 111. This is the super method. This is the method that Bob came up with over his 40 years or 38 years of sales training. He's coached over 114,000 individual salespeople, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. He invented what's called the super method. It's an acronym, SUPER. You guys write this down. This, and I have studied a lot, I've written a lot of books. This to me is the greatest framework I have ever seen, ever, on helping understand what people need. So, Bob, if you would be so kind, explain the super method.
Well, listen, in any conversation, whether it's selling an insurance policy, or whether it's selling a home, or whether it's selling yourself as an investor to buy a home, right? So that you can get in there. First thing you got to do is you've got to go through the discovery process. I mean, if you take a look at those individuals who have got the absolute number one highest closing percentage, it's generally physicians. Why? Because they're really good. They know how to diagnose before they prescribe, right? So often as real estate investors, we're not interested in diagnosing, so we can't offer any kind of a prescription or a solution to the individual that's out there. So when you use the super method, first thing is, it's a process of asking questions in the right order at the right time. You start out with situational questions. Tell me a little bit about your situation. Tell me why you want to sell this home, why you want to move, what's going on, where things are at, the details of the life they're living. And what you're doing is you're not only, working to understand them better, but to also ask the questions that will lead them to exposing what their pain points are, right? As you ask situation questions, you're going to ask U is for understanding. So now you got the S, you got the U, understanding or clarification questions. So often I'll just say, hey, listen, tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me how that's impacted your life. Tell me how that's made you feel. What emotions have you been dealing with? Has this been a stressful situation for you? And as I ask those clarification questions, inevitably, I am always exposing the pain that is as the foundation to their problem. It's interesting because anxiety is nothing more than the fear of a future outcome, right? I mean, that really is it. And fear is at the basis. Fear is also one of those things that's just, based on the challenge. Oh, look at this. He's actually pulling up the slide here on super method.
I like it so much. I had to create a PowerPoint for myself.
That's great. So you ask them understanding questions and clarification. And now what you're doing by asking all of those questions is you're identifying the pain. And P is pain questions, right? Once you ask them those pain questions and get clear on what it is that's causing them the most anxiety, the most pain, and remember, both fear and anxiety, they're, kind of cousins in this relationship. They are both based on future outcomes or future feared outcomes, the perception of a future outcome. It's not anything to deal with the present. I mean, it's like, well, man, I'm right now and I'm in foreclosure. Okay, you're in foreclosure. You can deal with that. But what does that lead to? That leads to them taking my house away from me. That leads to them destroying my credit. I won't be able to get my credit restored. I won't be able to get any bank financing in the future. I won't be able to enjoy home ownership. I don't know what that's going to do to my credit rating long term. That's going to be impacted. I may not be able to get a car loan. I may not be able to get a credit card. I may not be able to see, all of these things start to surface. So when we sit down with an individual, we can alleviate so many of those fears. But you don't alleviate the fears until you've spent time discussing them. You identify the pain, the E comes in with the discussion of those pain points. That's where you enlarge the pain. Just talk about it. So many times people go, ooh, you want to enlarge the pain? Absolutely. Because what I need to do is I need to establish the fact that they need me and that the pain they're dealing with is significant. And when I make it large enough, big enough, they will do anything to solve that problem and to eliminate that future fear, that future anxiety, that future concern and outcome. So we're just going to talk about it a little bit more and ask more questions about it. How does that make you feel? Dig into the emotion, dig into the outcomes. And then after you can see that the pain is substantial and it's forward facing, now it's time for you to release the pain. That's what the R is for. How do you release the pain? It's pretty simple. All you need to do is position your drive solution. Now, when I say a drive solution, that's exactly what I mean. That means if they're a director and it's all about lifestyle, it's about freedom, it's about, nobody putting their thumb on them, I'm going to lean into that conversation. If they are a relator, it's all about community, it's about relationships, about the difference you make in people's lives. I'm going to be, I'm going to be dialing it in on that side of it as well. And the same is true for intellectual, for validator, and executive. As we really release the pain by offering our drive solution, they go, whoa, what do I need to do? If you don't follow that sequence of questions, then too often we don't do a really good job of discovery. And if we don't do a good job of discovery, we're never, ever going to be able to diagnose the problem so that we can offer a prescription or we can offer a solution. And, a big part of the drive sales system is all about that very thing. So that's why I encourage you to, get a copy of for your own. That's a little shameless plug. Hey, speaking of shameless plugs, Woody, how do they get a copy of their own?
October 14th, you can find it on Amazon. The goal is we should have the ebook up by October 7th. I was literally uploading it before we got on this call and it got kicked out. So I got to deal with them tomorrow on that. So it's been so interesting. I've done this, 42 other times. No problem. Never had an issue. Every one of there's powers that are holding this back, but we are getting it out there and it is going to work and be beautiful. So yes, for guaranteed October 12th or 14th, it will be on, but I'm trying to get the ebook up by the 7th.
Now, Amazon, October 14th, but isn't it also going to be available in 40,000 bookstores worldwide?
Yes, worldwide. So you can walk into any bookstore anywhere in the world and ask for the Drive Sell System book by Bob Snyder and Woody Woodward, and it will be in their database on the 14th.
Excellent, man. That is fantastic. Yeah, there's so many golden nuggets and words of wisdom in there that it'll blow your mind. And you're going to look at this and you're going to go, this is a sales book. I'm a real estate investor. Huh. The two go together. Well, the two absolutely go together.
100% they do.
Yeah, they go they fit hand in glove in a very big way.
Yes.
That's the reason why we wanted to have this conversation today and kind of talk about this. Let's go a little bit further, Woody. Let's talk about how do you use the drive system to build rapport and relationships so that your contractors you've hired to do any renovation on your property actually show up.
That is so powerful because when it comes to persuasion, when it comes to really incentivizing people, we always fall short on this idea. Well, it's just money. I'll pay them more. They'll show up. No, they won't. We've seen that. You got to understand what really drives them, what emotionally moves them to want to show up. Why did they become a contractor, a plumber, an electrician? What's their why behind it? What's that passion behind it? Because if you can tap into that, when they have two bids or two deals that they're bidding on, or they already have two under contract, the one that makes them feel the most important, the ROI, return on importance, is the one that they will show up to the first, hands down, every single time. Years ago, we had bought this property. It was our dream home. It had been vacant for I think it was 6 years, had sunk. We had to bring in piers, raise it up, rebuild the courtyard. So I'm sitting there, and this is just something I do always. I get to know people, want to talk to them, talking to the general contractor. We're redoing the entire courtyard, pavers and concrete and stamped concrete, colored concrete. Got to talking to him, understanding where he was from, the country he came from, his passion, his children, what we could do for them, what other books I could give his kids so they could become entrepreneurs in America. All these things, my $45,000 bid, which I couldn't get anything under 65 grand, got down to 45, and then it was going to be 3 months out. He said, you know what? I can move these other two contracts. I can get started by next Thursday with you, all because of conversation. And in real estate, time actually is money because usually you're borrowing money, you're paying interest daily on that money. So being able to get hold of contractors and connecting with them, building a rapport and a relationship with them literally is ROI, the financial kind, is return on investment. The deals get done quicker, the quality of work is higher, and therefore they will want to serve you instead of working with other people.
Yeah. I had that same thing. Friday afternoon, I needed some assistance on lighting for one of my properties, and I got on the phone, or not on the phone, but I was texting the owner of the company over the weekend. We had built a fantastic rapport over the years because of that very thing, the feeling of importance and being able to deliver on that. So this morning, I got on the phone with him, had a conversation. I said, this is something I realize this is last minute. You guys are absolutely buried. When do you think you can get over here? He says, Bob, I've got two guys coming to your place right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you've created such great rapport, for those of you who are ever been in Renatus and have won a trophy or achieved a trophy, and if you look at Bob's background, it's all trophies. He uses the same company. He's very loyal to the company he uses. So I had an opportunity where I needed a trophy immediately to meet with a gentleman. I called Jay. Jay called the owner, orchestrated it. Guy had it to me in 24 hours. I raced down, picked it up, handed the credit cards. Like, Jay's already covered it. It's taken care of. That's the kind of relationship where people step in, want to do business with you because you make them feel important and you help them build their businesses.
Absolutely. Well, share with them, good old Garrett Gunderson. You and he masterminded a
Love Garrett.
concept a long time ago, and you told Garrett he could just run with it. The relationship formula.
Oh, I'll give him full credit on this. We had a bunch of comparisons. He came up with this. So this, I love it. MC plus RC equals FC. So MC is mental capital. You have to have mental capital. You have to have information, but you have to have RC, which is relationship capital. So MC plus RC equals FC, financial capital. So as soon as you have mental capital, you want to buy a property, you want different, contractors to come in and work on this property. That's the relationship capital. You build up enough relationship capital, they'll show up with the vision that you have to flip this property, to fix the railing, to change out the backyard so that you can produce relationship or mental relationship capital produces the financial capital you're going for.
Absolutely. Woody, man, this has been awesome. So, we've covered a few different aspects and a few different angles. So it works for contractors, it works for bankers, it works for private lenders, it works for hard money lenders. Why? Well, I should say, who else does Drive work for in the real estate business?
Most importantly, the person selling the property. Because when they're selling a property, they have a choice between a couple, if not dozens of people, depending on the market and the how hot a market is. If you can get to know the seller, why they're actually selling, really go deep with them. When they're looking at offering that property to different people, it doesn't always come down to dollars and cents. They will work with the person they want to work with. And it can be you if you create enough value for them. And this ties to something I've really been thinking a lot about this weekend. I had some challenges last week on some business things that were really driving me crazy. And I get obsessive with my thoughts. So I stay up all night challenging ideas, trying to figure stuff out. And it hit me on Saturday morning, the power of clarity. And this hit me so hard that literally, Bob, I was going to drive to your house and ruin your entire weekend. But I knew I'd be talking to you. So I'm like, I'll wait. But I have not stopped thinking about it. I've challenged it with AI. And so let me share you guys with you what I've learned about clarity. Every single thing in the sales cycle, whether it's real estate, whether it's coaching, whether it's anything, people are buying for clarity. Someone is selling their property to get clarity on where they're going to move next. You're buying an investment property to get clarity on how to create more revenue, how to get retirement, how to get cash flow. We're always in this search for clarity. So I came up with this quote: clarity is the single most valuable resource in life and business. It converts confusion into action, exhaustion into energy, and indecision into direction. People and companies that provide clarity create trust, attract loyalty, and command value. So going even deeper on this, why does someone go to a university to get an education, to get a job? So they're buying clarity. Why does someone go to a doctor? They're looking for clarity of the pain that they have. Why do they go to a chiropractor? Because they want clarity of the pain in their back. You can look at every single profession and break down the clarity that somebody is trying to buy. So really, we're in this clarity game. Drive is the vehicle to get to the clarity that they're looking for. Because if you present based on your clarity, I'm an executive director, so I want to win, be in control, reach my goals. If I'm going to that pitch when I'm talking to an investor and they're a relator and they're looking at community, they have an emotional tie to their home. They don't want just anybody to live in their home. I have seen so many sellers say, well, I chose this young family because I want them to have the same memories that we and our young family had in our home. No, it's transactional, it's dollars and cents. But in emotional level, they want to provide that for somebody else. They're a relator. So when it comes down to clarity, there's kind of 5 steps of clarity. One is confusion. There's this fog. We have this fog of, how am I going to sell this property? How do I get rid of it? Do I hire a real estate agent? Do I get an investor? Then there's this curiosity. They start searching. They talk to some real estate agents. What's the market value of my home? Then it becomes comprehension. They begin to see and understand the market. Then it's clarity, knowing the next steps to actually take. Then it's confidence to act on it. So you go from confusion to curiosity, comprehension, clarity, and confidence. And in the drive framework that you and I created, it came down to, you have a primary and secondary drive. Your primary drive is the emotion, it's what you're going for emotionally. Your secondary drive is the logic in which you choose to buy something, it's the way you logically look at things. So conviction plus clarity equals action. So this whole study I spent this weekend on with clarity still ties to drive. We're all emotional beings. We buy emotionally, we justify logically, but we're all looking for clarity in any aspect of our business. The reason why someone comes to a Renatus event, the reason why someone buys the real estate education is it provided clarity for them to move to that next level. All the 600 plus hours you guys have developed, which is phenomenal. Nobody else has done it. Each course is a course on clarity, whether it's tax liens, fix and flips, it doesn't matter. It's clarity. So the best thing you can do when you're talking to people, in essence, is talk about that super method, the pain point. Because if you can provide clarity to that pain point, done deal every time.
Yeah. Hey, Woody, the 5, I love that. That's fantastic. That's why you're genius. Doesn't that lead to a 6th? Certainty.
Ooh, yes. That is why we journal.
Oh, that's the great thing about this, man. Oh, heavens, Woody, I so appreciate your time. I know that you've got an appointment you've got to rush to in just a little bit here. Having you here has been fantastic. Listen, for each and
Always
every
an honor.
person out there, if you have not gone out and discovered your drive, do so now. Just go to discoveryourdrive.com. Discoveryourdrive.com. Take the assessment, find out your primary and your secondary drive is, and then on October 14th, hey, Amazon, order your book. I'm telling you, it'll be the best dollars you ever spent in your whole life, man. It's It's been a labor of love and an incredible opportunity for us to do a deep dive in how to take this drive sales system and impact individuals from all walks of life in every career choice. And when you move into the wonderful world of real estate, you're going to want to have this in your arsenal because it will equip you to better go out and negotiate deals, build relationships, and negate some of the challenges that otherwise it might befall you as an investor and make more money. That's the bottom line. Woody, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life's work. You're an
Uh,
absolute genius.
it would
And I
not work
wish,
without you and Jay, guys. Appreciate you.
well, I wish we had more time, but listen, we're going to let you go. I got a few announcements to take care of with everybody before we do a wrap on the Invest Edge. But love you, brother, and thanks so much for being here.
Well, guys, talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Right on. All right, let me share a few things here with everybody because we got cool stuff going on, man. Few announcements for everyone so that you're clear on what's coming up here. Here we go. Hey, Mr. Chris Albin, who is one of our beloved instructors, we've got a new educational promo video that is out. It's in your back office if you're a part of the Renatus community. I just wanted to let you know that it's there. It's on his advanced creative acquisitions course. And if you haven't seen that course, man, you need to because the information you have not assimilated is costing you money. Here's another thing too. We want you to follow us on the socials. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, you got QR codes right in front of you there so that you can get better acquainted with us for Renatus Education as well as for Renatus on Facebook. But if you're in the know, you're going to want to make sure that we're right there with you. And then the E3 Summit, which Mr. Woodward's going to be doing a deep dive on his drive system and how that relates to each aspect of the wonderful world of real estate and business. Anyway, the E3 Summit is coming up. It's October 23rd to the 25th. What does E stand for times three? Well, it's educate, equip, engage. And that's what the entire 3 days of education are designed for. Now, here's what we want to put out to everybody. This is really all the folks that are involved with us and help us to get the word out about our education. If you've previously purchased a ticket to the VIP, to the E3, if you upgrade to VIP, which would mean there's a $303 difference, so you upgrade to VIP for $303 and invited guests are free. That means that, listen, if you've got a business partner, if you've, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, somebody that you want to invite to attend this incredible event, well, if you've bought a VIP pass for a total of $500, well, then not only do you get to invite your guests for free, but you're going to be included with the luncheons with each of our instructors, myself and Jay Stark, and a lot of our leadership in the company in a very intimate setting where we're going to get to know you and get acquainted with folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. That'll happen at noon each day of the E3. So that's 3 opportunities for you to have lunch with us. And we're going to do some Q&A during that. It's a very intimate and very private setting. So a few benefits there. It also gives you preferred seating right up front so that you're going to make sure that you are at the ready to take notes and interact with the instructors because we got 30 plus instructors, 3 days of powerful education and information. You do not want to miss this incredible opportunity. The E3 Summit right around the corner coming up. I mean, just to give you an idea of some of the instructors we're going to have there, Mr. Bill Predabon's going to be there. Bill is an amazing individual that has really gone out and hit it hard to excel in real estate investing in a lot of different varieties. He's developed a new strategy called From the Ground Up, and he'll be explaining some of the nuances of that strategy. Mr. Troy Dunn's going to be there. Troy is a big-time celebrity. He's done some great things. He's had 3 network primetime TV shows over the years. He's the author of several different best-selling books. He's an international speaker and founder of the Locator Foundation. Troy, his information is so golden, man. It will leave you wanting for more. And that's not to say that he doesn't pour out his heart and make sure that he gives you. It's just that he's that good. You could listen to him all stinking day long. We've got Mr. John Pennington Jr. going to be there. John is the co-founder of Bridge Investment Group. They are a $28 billion investment fund. $28 billion. And a lot of people go, well, gee, what's an investment fund got to do with this real estate summit? Because the reason why John was so successful over the years is because he understood how to recognize timing with his fund and go out and raise private equity so that he could take advantage of the market. He really focused in on opportunity zones. I believe that in the very near future, you're going to see a lot more of that out there. And John's going to share with you some of his words of wisdom. He's a brilliant individual, the author of Dollars, Gold, and Bitcoin, president of over 100 different corporations, been married 40 plus years, 3 sons, 6 grandkids, great guy, he loves to mountain bike, and he's just a powerhouse on stage. Like I said, 30 plus instructors. You do not want to miss this opportunity to come and join us because it's going to be phenomenal and it will help to educate you, equip you so that you can engage in money making activities and go out there and crush it. How do you get yourself registered? It's really simple. It's on your screen. Register now either through the QR code using your phone or just type into your web browser renatus.me/E3 Summit. But do it now. This is an event that will sell out. And once the seats are gone, they're gone. And we don't want to see you on the outside looking in. We want to see you on the inside benefiting from all the incredible information that is provided. Well, folks, that's a wrap. Another Invest Edge, fantastic opportunity to learn from one of the best, Mr. Woody Woodward, and to prep you for the E3 Summit that is coming up in literally 3 weeks. Why is this all important? Well, because we're a big believer in this. If home is where the heart is, shouldn't your business be there too? And when you're a real estate investor, that's exactly where you start. So come join us at the E3 Summit. Until, next time, we will say good day and God bless everybody. Bye-bye now.